It's a me, Team Redeye, and it's the Team Redeye shit show. We were going on and on rambling after the movie stream tonight, recording this after the Black Christmas American Psycho double feature. Interesting thing to double feature there, but that's what we did. But Corbin and I were having a lot of cool conversations, and I'm like, we could have been recording this whole time and had a shit show. And then Corbin's like, yes, of course, Angelo, you fucking idiot. Why didn't you record, you retard? And I'm like, okay, goddamn. He was really mean to me. What'd you say?
Guy like that.
Yeah. All right, should we, what should we talk about first? This was a spur-of-the-moment shit show, so,
I don't know, I've been listening to Korn again lately.
Oh, have you?
And something I realized that a lot of Korn's music is actually kind of about hating women and hating your ex-girlfriend, or a lot of their music's also about growing up and becoming a man.
Huh.
And about sexual degeneracy being a bad thing.
So Korn's actually based?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the singer of Korn, I think he was a Christian. I don't know if he still is.
Huh. I would not have guessed that.
In the early days of Korn, but he became Christian.
Oh, okay. One thing that sucks is speaking of music, right? Necro, 86 Measures a Game.
Mm-hmm.
That's his only song that I really like.
I like a lot of his songs.
Well, I've listened to a few of his others. Okay, let me rephrase, because there's been a couple that have been pretty decent. That album has a lot of decent songs on it.
He's done a lot of good... he has one song that's about suicide that's really good.
Okay.
Where he's the song's about portraying suicide in a bad way, not an edgy I'm gonna kill myself kind of way.
Yeah, not a 13 Reasons Why piece of shit.
Yeah.
No, but 86 Measures a Game is easily his best song that I've heard. I've only listened to that album, so I haven't listened to a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we watched some based movies tonight. Well, a based movie.
Yeah.
I suppose if you look at the story of Peter as a tragedy in Black Christmas, that could be based in that regard, right? See, the fun thing, Corbin, could be to twist anything to be based if we want it to. Kind of like how John Doyle did with Beauty and the Beast.
That's because life itself is on our side.
It's true.
When liberals try to portray, this is my view on life, it's well... you can see you can see the truth behind what they want you to see.
Mm-hmm. Common sense is absolutely a thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people lack it.
I think that's interesting though, because getting red-pilled is mostly just starting to accept basic, simple truths.
Yeah. You start to accept that reality does kind of have a natural order of things.
Yeah. That's why it's so weird, because it's because all it is common sense that people need to learn.
Yeah.
And then that common sense, once you have that common sense down, you have a basic worldview, everything makes a lot more sense, and you can add on to that.
Yeah. That's another thing that I think is so frustrating with leftists when you're arguing with them. They'll be all about statistics and bringing up studies and shit like that. When you bring up shit that's just easily observable.
Yeah, that's what was driving me crazy about Valerie's. He's like, I'm gonna go. It's you say that that gender is made up. Well, I'm gonna look that up. Obviously it's made up. What do you need to look up?
Yeah, it reminds me of that Timcast when Hunter Avallone was on. And Tim Pool was bringing up the fact that Joe Biden got a prosecutor fired. He basically blackmailed this or like extorted, I guess would be the more proper term, this Ukrainian like company. If they didn't fire a prosecutor, he wouldn't give them like government funding. Because the prosecutor was like investigating his son. And then Hunter Avallone said that didn't happen, and then Tim's like, Biden literally said it. And he's like, no, he didn't. He's like, you want me to show you the video? And he's like, I don't want to see the video, I want to see an article. But then he showed him the video, and Hunter Avallone shut the fuck up because he realized he didn't know what the hell he was talking about in this case. Because, like, when he showed him the video, he's like, okay, well, I didn't know that.
I don't want to see a video, I want to see an article.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that is, like, what Valerie says, where it's like, I don't want to...
Don't believe your lying eyes. God. Leftists are so insane, man. They don't want to just accept reality for what it is. And, like, the thing is, reality can be a beautiful thing. Like,
well, that was one... Like people think that, like, when it comes to being vegetarian, where it's like, I love nature so much that I'm going to reject my own.
Right, exactly.
Makes no sense. Either you have to take the bad with the good of the thing with everything.
You know, I think it is fitting that I started this out with an image of Mr. House, because we're talking about base stuff, and Mr. House is a base character. There you go, that fits.
Well, we can't go without saying anything based. The based comes to us.
Yeah, we are the fucking based.
Yeah,
like
I think that we're the two most based people on the planet.
I agree. No one is more based. We're the basest. Everybody agrees. We're also very humble.
Yeah, you'll someday see how humble I can be.
But yeah, you know, I realized that there's a lot of like movies I want to like talk about. Like, I want to do like a top 10 based movies video.
Yeah, I want to do that too. Or maybe like your video. I don't know.
Yeah, like we could each do one. We could collaborate on one. We'll figure it out. But I definitely want American Psycho to be in there now for sure. After rewatching it, absolutely that needs to be in it.
Like the top. Like, I can think of the top 5 for me. Like, 1 would be Watchmen, 2 would be Fight Club, 3 would be American Psycho, 4 would be Boogie. I don't know what 5 would be.
So you lied when you said you could think of the top 5.
Maybe it would be a Clockwork Orange, I don't know.
Yeah. I'd say The Matrix would have to be on the list somewhere, because The Matrix is just so important. Like,
I actually haven't seen Matrix yet. We gotta watch that.
Oh, God. You haven't seen The Matrix? Dude, I gotta show you that one. Like, I have that one on Blu-ray, so we can't do it on the Discord.
Never had the opportunity to watch The Matrix.
Okay.
So I got Reloaded on DVD and I haven't watched it.
Okay. The original's, like, the one that's important. So, to tell you what, I'm gonna have to get a DVD copy of it and show it to you on the Discord.
I gotta watch Matrix, Matrix Reloaded, and Animatrix.
Yeah, well, the thing is Matrix Reloaded is decent. Matrix Revolutions, the parts where they're in the Matrix are cool, but the parts after that, like the parts of the CGI robots, kind of suck. I haven't seen Resurrections, the new one, because I didn't really have any interest in that one.
But, like, what's the political connection of the Matrix? Like, I get, like, they're all in a simulation.
Well, the whole point the whole point of the Matrix is waking up to the fact that reality is all a narrative given to you to make you believe something that isn't true. And then when you take the red pill, which the Matrix is where the red pill comes from, you realize what the truth actually is. Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was originally political or if it was made to be political.
You know, the creators have in recent years, like, I think they're just straight up lying about it now. Because if you don't know, both the creators went trans. And they try to say now that The Matrix was actually a commentary about them dealing with the fact that they were trans, which I just don't believe.
There's actually this hidden truth in me?
Right. I don't believe any of that.
Like, it doesn't make sense because that's the narrative that is being sold now.
Yeah. But like I said, The Matrix, I think, is a very important movie. I think everyone should see it at least once.
People, when left-wingers talk about the culture, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because when they're like, the culture encourages rape and racism, and it's like you control the culture. So if it encourages those things, you're the one doing it.
Yeah, there you go. Another thing that another movie that would absolutely have to be in my top 10 based movies would be They Live.
Yeah.
For similar reasons.
Yeah.
Like The Matrix and They Live both have very similar like intent behind them, like with the message.
They Live though can also be like I agree with a lot of They Live, but it is still like anti-capitalist.
Yeah. But like the thing is, it's mostly anti-establishment is what it's going for. Like it does have anti-capitalist in it too, but I agree with the anti-establishment stuff, just not the anti-capitalist stuff.
Like I think I like to consume.
Yeah, but like again, they live. I still think it's a really good movie, and I still think it's pretty based.
I'm a cog in the machine. I'm part of the team.
He has one of those like himself. Or, is that what's the line?
Oh yeah, he's one of those ones with one of himself.
See, a lot of episodes of that show could be pretty based, even though the creators were leftists, so I don't think they intended anything to be based.
Yeah. I actually really like that part where Duck's singing about how he's his own family. Like, I honestly related to that.
Yeah, Duck's such a good character. I honestly, like, in the web series, Red Guy was my favorite character, but with the show, Duck is easily my favorite character.
Mm-hmm. Duck became really based.
Yeah.
They're pretending they don't respect me.
Yeah, I love that line. How strange. They're pretending they don't respect me.
Duck is Trump. Ah!
I'm going to put up this picture of a gorilla drinking coffee. That's what I'm going to put up next.
Gosh, like
it's an AI-generated image, so...
My moral philosophy sort of has, like, combines, like, naturalism with traditionalism.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
And I think that those actually go really well together.
No, I agree. They go hand in hand. And objectivism is a part of that, too, I would say. You know what I mean? Like, all those different ideals go together with that.
I think a lot of people who call themselves naturalists literally go against their own nature.
Yeah, I could see it.
And they don't understand, like, what nature actually is.
Yeah. You know what, like, philosophy I hate the most out of any philosophy? Well, maybe not the most, like, because, like, woke philosophy I hate the most, but, like, besides woke philosophy, like, an actual, like, philosophical train of thought that I really hate.
What is it?
Determinism. I fucking hate determinism.
That everything's laid out for you already?
Yeah, and that it's predetermined, so that free will is an illusion. I think that's fucking retarded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a whole big argument with someone on my stream with it once. A random person, that's his username, showed up on my stream because I was talking about how your life is what you make it and how you need to take control of your own life and that's how you'll be happy.
Yeah, that was something I had to learn, was that I was responsible for all of the things wrong in my own life.
Yeah. But, like, he kept bringing up determinism and saying that, like, no, but you're a product of your environment and being raised. And I'm like, well, I mean, that contributes to you, sure, but that doesn't determine you, you know?
Yeah, but eventually you learn enough information that you can't use that as an excuse anymore.
Exactly. Like, your life is what you make it. And if you're an adult, chances are your life is a result of, like, it's a consequence of your actions, whether it be positive or negative.
Like, say you've never, ever, like, nobody's ever encouraged you in the right way, and then I show up and I encourage you. Now you don't have an excuse. Go do something.
Right, exactly. But
it's stupid how you choose to... it's you who's not choosing to take the good advice that people give you.
Exactly. Like, again, the whole argument was dumb, and he kept saying, yeah, but it's a real philosophical, like, school of thought. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make it right.
Like when I was a kid, I never listened to people that, like, I was always unhappy, and I always figured that it was for no reason, or that I didn't have any reason to be unhappy. But, like, then I started following the advice, the simple advice that people give you, like, on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
That's just so freaking easy to do. Like, just work out for not even a full hour a day. Drink water. Mm-hmm. Don't give into your urges. Like it's really simple stuff, and once you start building these healthy habits every day, life becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, like my mom used to be really depressed, and then she started like eating properly and exercising and taking care of herself. Now she's a lot happier.
Hmm. Like I used to like when I was like I used to be like a really emotional person, but then when I started adopting healthy habits, I haven't now I don't like cry about anything anymore or anything like that. Like I just like when something happens, I have sort of a stoic view on it if it's out of my control.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is out of my control. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not even going to think about it anymore. What's the point of dwelling on this thing and hurting myself emotionally when this thing is uncontrollable?
Right. And like I'm not going to go into detail on this. You know the details. Obviously, we're not going to talk about it on this video. But that stuff I went through a couple years ago that really fucked me up and made me take a break from YouTube. The way that I got through that was because I had my uncle talking to me, and he helped me, like, because I was really depressed at the start of that. And he convinced me, he helped me get through it by telling me, you just need to make one goal a day and do that. And if you've done that, you've succeeded that day, and then make another goal the next. Just focus on one goal at a time. And I got through it no problem because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also goes hand in hand with a lot of the stuff Jordan Peterson says, because Jordan Peterson says similar things in regards to setting like one goal and achieving it.
Yeah, that was something that I had to start doing. That's what building the healthy habits thing.
Yeah.
Is every day you add on another healthy habit, and eventually you have yourself in order. It just becomes like you get a rhythm to it.
Right. Exactly.
And something I learned is is when I start thinking about things that I've done that upset me, or I think about things in the past that already happened that affects my actions in the present. Like if I think of myself like, oh, I'm an idiot, I can't do anything right, well then I'm going to be an idiot and I'm not going to do anything right in the future too. You have to sort of I actually think it is kind of a good thing to ignore your past. Like you should learn from your past mistakes and to like say, I'm never going to do this again, but I'm not going to think about it either.
Right. You don't let it own you. You don't obsess over it.
Yeah. Like something that I've learned to do is to just focus on what's going on right now. I don't get too crazy about what I'm going to do in the future or what I've done in the past. I have to focus on what I can do now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, and there's a quote from Red versus Blue. I used to take, like, it's a weird one, but I used to say this to, like, be inspirational to myself when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And it clearly was not intended this way, because it's just, like, a funny line. But, like, how much Red... You've seen a decent amount of Red versus Blue, right, Corbin?
I've seen the first, 3 seasons. Or
okay,
whatever.
Perfect. This is a thing from season 3, so hopefully... so in season 3 when Church keeps resetting, going back in time, trying to fix stuff, and then at the end he realizes no matter what he does, it just makes things worse, and then he finds out he's the cause of a lot of things that have already happened because he had already done it, so it created a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line he says when he shows up, when he finally realizes he can't change anything, and then ends up in the present. He's talking about, well, here I am, and then Caboose is yeah, just remember, it could always be worse. And he's like, nope, it can't. Things are what they are. They can't be any worse. They can't be any better. That's the way things fucking are, and you just got to deal with it. I don't agree with that. I think things can always be better, but I think when it comes to things you can't control, that is a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the things you can control, you should always try to improve yourself. But, when it's things out of your control, you got to realize that there are things out of your control in this world.
That's why I think combining stoicism and objectivism, it really works, because the aspects of objectivism that people always talk about are well, you can't control everything in your life. And it's yeah, well, then if you combine stoicism and objectivism, it kind of because that's what stoicism is the philosophy of not dwelling on things you can't control.
Right.
While objectivism is this idealistic philosophy of pushing yourself as far as you can, doing what you want to do.
Right.
But I agree that it's better to be a realist than an idealist.
Right.
Because there are things that you can't do.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the nature of reality.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of bad things in the world. The world is a dark and fucked up place, and a lot of people don't realize just how dark and fucked up it is.
Like how Ayn Rand says that art should be idealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I agree and I disagree with that, because I think that sometimes portraying art in a realistic way can be encouraging.
Yeah,
like
I could
to
see
show
it.
just because somebody's done something wrong or has flaws doesn't mean they can't do good in the future, you know.
Right.
And I think it's good to show flawed heroes, to show that you can be a hero even despite your own flaws.
I agree. But like I said, I do think it is nice to blend objectivism, stoicism, naturalism. There's lots of things that do go really well together when you combine them into your own sort of philosophy. And obviously, I think you and I have a lot of the same philosophical ideals. I do think we obviously still disagree on some philosophical things too, but I think that's part of why we have these discussions and why it's so important to think about these things, because it helps to help us have better understanding on how things actually work in the world.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell a certain someone. I'm not going to go into detail about who I've been talking to.
Right.
But I've been trying to be disagreeable, but in a subtle way.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
In a way that makes people think about what they actually believe.
Right. Like, one thing I think that it's a shame that it's lost on people is the Socratic method. Are you familiar with the Socratic method?
I've definitely heard of it, but I don't remember.
So, it was an idea created by Socrates. It's a train of thought. And the idea behind it is you have to analyze your own beliefs and ask yourself, why do I think this? And that way you can get to the root of why things are the way they are, because you start to ask yourself, okay, what's this? Okay, why is it that? Why do I think it's that? Why do I interpret it this? You have to question yourself and your own thoughts and why you think that way.
Yeah, because there was something where eventually I started questioning the things that I was thinking, where I was like, well, where did that idea come from? Where did I get that idea?
Right.
And when I track it back, it comes to personal experiences in my life.
Right. And that's the Socratic method. And I think that it's a damn shame that they don't teach that in school anymore, because they used to teach the Socratic method in school.
I think that everyone in school should be made to read Ayn Rand and Aristotle. Like, I think that needs to be taught in schools.
I agree.
And 1984. Kids need to read 1984.
Yeah. Everyone should read 1984. Like I said, 1984 is my favorite book of all time. One of these days I'll have to show the movie as well. We'll have to do a Redeye Theater of the movie.
And I think schools should teach religions too.
Yeah.
Like not just one. Like a school should be like, okay, you can read the Bible, the Quran, the Book of Mormon.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think you should. That should definitely be part of.
Well, I do think having religion growing up actually helped me to form a lot of like understanding on things too, because it gave me a basic moral code to live with.
I think kids be introduced with a lot of contradicting moral ideas.
Right, because that's the only way you're going to come to your own conclusions is if you're faced with several different things.
Mm-hmm.
And
but
that's
the school put one single moral narrative.
Yeah. Like, obviously, when it comes to objective things, like, you know, physical reality, obviously, that's something that there's not going to be a lot of disambiguation on.
But what I mean is, like, schools encourage one morality, which is the law, you know?
Which, again, the law is tied to morals, but they're not the same thing.
Yeah. And your morals shouldn't just be shaped around the law. You should come to your own conclusions. You have the freedom to come to your own conclusions that go against the law. Like, you're allowed to think whatever you want.
Right. Like for instance, right, I don't think piracy is immoral. But it is illegal.
Yeah.
And I don't think on its own drug use is necessarily immoral. I think that it's a bad idea in a lot of cases.
I think our judicial system is fucked up.
I agree. The legal system is very fucked up. There's a lot of problems with it.
Like just one problem is obviously the one aspect. Like I understand democracy being this important part of our society, but like I think the idea of just a room full of random people getting to decide what your punishment is kind of silly.
Yeah.
And I think that putting somebody in a room for the rest of their life to rot away when they could actually serve some benefit to society is also a shame.
I agree. I'm putting up Bat Walsh next as a picture, by the way.
Bat Walsh.
Yeah. Honestly, it's my favorite art you've done so far for Sergeant Friends.
I like doing caricatures.
Yeah, it's so good.
Danny DeVito, Bat Walsh.
Were you gonna do Hen Shapiro or was I? I think I was, right?
Yeah, you're gonna do Ben Shapiro. I can't make a chicken look like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. But that's why, like, the thing is that's why I like to watch, like, most of the people I watch, admittedly, are on the right. Like, I'll watch left-wing stuff just to hear what they're saying, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch a lot of people on the right. A lot of people don't realize. The right is very, like, people on the left don't realize this, I should say. The right is not like a monolith. There are a lot of different ideologies on the right. The right is not just one single ideology.
Yeah, like I. That's what always annoys me is of that left wingers do is they act like behind every single everything that right wingers believe comes from like a place of racism, sexism, or just general phobias.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's just so much to the right that it really doesn't make sense. Like I will say that they're definitely, I do think that there is like the most racism that you get on the right is typically like somebody might think, yeah, I'm proud of being a white person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that. Like I have met people like that where they're like, yeah, I'm proud. I am, but if black people are allowed to be proud of being black, why can't I be proud of being white?
Right.
You know.
And like, granted, you will still get like some weird like anti-Semitic stuff on the right too. That does happen, like Kanye, right?
Yeah. Which is, I don't really agree with Jews taking being in control of everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think that is.
Like
I think if any, it's women that rule America now.
Yeah, and like it's not like women form like a cult. It's just in general, the female sex has control.
You're cutting out a lot. What's going on?
I'm not cutting out on the video, but I just said it's not like there's a cult of women. It's just that women in general are in control.
Your audio is weird right now.
Is it? Should I
try? Yeah, you're cutting out a lot in the audio.
I can try leaving the call and rejoining.
Should I hang up?
Let's both hang up. My Discord's being weird. So apologies. We'll get back to more of the shit show in a second. I just got to fix some stuff on this because Discord's being really lame right now. So I'm going to end the process for Discord. But yeah, like I was saying, I think that the right wing is a lot more varied than people on the left give it credit for because it's not a monolith. It's multiple ideologies coming together, and it's crazy to me that people don't realize that. Come on, you piece of shit. Alright, Discord's being a piece of shit, so I'm going to have to stop this recording and start another one, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, I'm recording again. My internet went down, so we had to start a new recording. I put up a picture of the Zero Recall movie poster from the Sergeant Friends episode, one about Frankie Muniz, and then I put up a picture of Good Brother next to him. It's just a mishmash. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with that, but yeah.
Finally, it's your internet that's terrible this time.
Yeah. Mine's been weird the last few days. But anyway, we were discussing like the right not being a monolith and how there's a lot of different ideals. We can move on from that, or we can continue. I just thought I'd let you know that's what we were talking about before we cut out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think like there literally is a lot more to the. There is a lot of philosophies in the right, while the left is currently sticking to one philosophy.
Yeah.
Which is this. It's kind of stupid because it's like, what if you combine nihilism and authoritarianism? Like, how can you authoritate nihilism, the belief in nothing?
Yeah.
Like, that's a idea to combine those two. That's like the worst philosophy you could have.
Well, they like to take Marxism and like try to say that they're like super smart because they read Marx.
Yeah, but it's also like, so do you believe that nothing matters or not? Because there's definitely a nihilistic aspect to their philosophy, which makes the whole thing confusing.
Yeah. Well, and they also don't believe in objective truth. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Like, that's what I mean by nihilism, is that they don't believe in anything. They think everything's subjective.
Like
that life no meaning, so we make our own meaning, but we all have to agree on what that meaning we make is.
Right.
Like, it makes me think of like that song. Is it Queen that sings that song where it's like one right, one religion, one something?
I don't know. That's not ringing any bells.
But there's like a song that I think is like sounds like hell in like its description to me, where it's like it's almost described like it's a utopia in the song, but it's like one religion, we're all like one, like it's basically saying everything but one. Like we all agree
well, I know that there's that Bob Marley song that's like one life, one tribe, one people.
No, I'm thinking of a different song.
Okay. Yeah, then I don't know.
I'm thinking of a rock song.
Okay.
But I think that concept of a utopia where everyone's the same sounds stupid.
It absolutely does.
I don't know. A part of what's great about life is disagreeing.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy disagreements, and that's one thing I love doing with my friends is arguing.
That's what drives me crazy when I'm having a conversation with somebody, and if I disagree with them, they're like, "Why you always gotta you're a disagreeable person. You're just going out of your way." And it's like, well, I just don't agree with you. Like, why do I have to pretend to agree with you to be a friend? Like, why do I have to?
Yeah.
It drives me actually annoying when people. It drives me really crazy when people tell me that.
Yeah.
That I'm argumentative or disagreeable. It's like, you should be too. You shouldn't just conform to the same ideas that everyone else has.
Yeah. Well, it's a natural trait in men too, is to be disagreeable. Like, that's part of our nature.
Like, I remember I would have like political discussions with my teachers, and then my teachers would like call my mom, and they're like, Corbin was really argumentative or something. And it's like, I was just having a conversation. I want to talk about these ideas.
Yeah, I mean, that's luckily back when I was in school, my teachers encouraged disagreement. Back when I was in like, high school, early college, like later on in college, not so much. But my first couple semesters, my teachers encouraged it.
That's something that I thought I had a really good conversation with one teacher that I actually really liked, because he was always talking, because he was really passionate about the Civil War. And he was actually like a good teacher. Like in history class, he actually like cared about what he taught us.
Yeah.
And he also a cool guy, because he was like he would tell stories about how he's like, me and my friends, we would pretend that we were people from the Civil War, and we'd all smoke cigars around a campfire.
Hell
yeah.
Man,
that's awesome. And that guy, like, I looked up to that teacher more than any of my other teachers. So it really disappointed me when I had a conversation with him. And I thought it was a good conversation, and we had disagreements, but I was happy with those disagreements. I liked that we had different ideas. And then he called my mom and was like, Corbin was argumentative and disagreeable or whatever. And I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, that's really lame. That really does suck. God damn.
What bothered him was that he has this traditionalist conservative perspective, and I had more of an anti-authority kind of perspective at the time. Where I was like, and I was just talking about. I guess I think he saw what I was saying as like anarchist views or just disagreeing for the sake of it or something.
Yeah. Well, that's really lame. I hate that because like you thought it was a good conversation, and then turns out I guess he didn't think that, right?
Yeah. But he was still cool though. I've had other good conversations with him.
Okay. Yeah, and like that's the other thing. Like, so that's what I was getting into, right? Like, I watch a lot of traditional conservative stuff. I watch some anarcho-capitalist stuff. I watch, classical liberal, which is typically deemed right wing by hardcore leftists now. I watch a blend of different ideologies that I take aspects from each. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just stick to one thing. If I agree with something, I agree with it. If I disagree, I disagree.
I actually like really enjoy getting in conversations with conservatives that believe in a really specific type of conservatism that you don't see often. Like I like talking to people that share a lot of similar ideas, but they believe in them for different reasons or something. You know?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, that's fun.
Like I like even when like I've had conversations with conservatives that don't like Jordan Peterson, and I didn't like think it was a bad conversation because I was like, well, I get what your point is because he's not a conservative, he's classical liberal.
Right.
So like it would make sense, and it's like when I meet a conservative, it's like that's like, oh, you actually know what you believe in, you're set in stone, you know who you are, and I kind of like in people so that people that know who they are. And they know when somebody goes against their ideas, and they stick with their morals and principles.
Yeah. No, I can respect someone who actually has like an opinion and they stick to their principles.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's like J.K. Rowling I was mentioning earlier. I think that was on the actual stream earlier when we were watching American Psycho. But I respect J.K. Rowling, even though I don't agree with her on most things.
Yeah, because I just like her commitment because she's shown that she doesn't care about whatever the narrative is.
Yeah.
You know, believes what she believes.
Right.
And I just think that's cool.
I also go ahead.
I like though that we're getting to a time where everybody's disagreeing more and everybody's being more original. You know.
Yeah.
Like people are like becoming a lot more honest lately, and it's kind of cool because it's sort of opening us up to what the human condition is actually like.
Right.
Because we're seeing that people by nature aren't agreeable.
Right, and women by nature are to be conquered. But no, it's true. Like,
I think we should live in according to our own nature.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I definitely think that nature, like, the reason we have a nature in something is because that's just the natural order. I think we should. Like, there's no reason to fight against it, you know what I mean?
Something I will say is I definitely disagree with what the Unabomber did.
Uh-huh.
But his point behind what he was doing was, he was a terrorist. Yeah, that's wrong.
Right, obviously.
But what he was trying to bring attention to, I agree with. Like he was saying that basically with the bombs, he was saying like, look at what the technology is sort of capable of, in one, but also saying, but he wanted to bring attention to his writings, which were about how now that we're becoming so dependent on technology, we're losing our nature.
Yeah.
Well, we're not with. And he was basically saying like now you're being provided your food, you're being provided you're in a place of comfort, and you didn't earn what you have. But if you lived in the past, you would have had to have earned those things that you have, and you would have felt more accomplished.
Right. Well, it kind of reminds me of that line from Fight Club. The things you own end up owning you.
Yeah, Fight Club does kind of like, now that I think about it, Fight Club kind of makes me think of the Unabomber because it's all about like destroying like material. It's all about like stopping materialism and using destruction to bring awareness to your human nature or whatever.
Right. And that's like, here's the thing. Like, I think that being overly materialistic and dependent on technology is a bad thing. Like, obviously, I think a certain degree of materialism is a good thing. Like, I think ultimately we are materialistic to some degree, but I think becoming dependent on materialism is a problem.
The way I see it is your emotional connection to things doesn't just exist on its own. You choose that.
Right.
You choose things that you are emotionally connected to.
Right.
And I would say that this applies to objects and people. I think when people say, I love this person unconditionally, or if they say that I have true love, I don't think those people understand what love is and how to actually use it in an ethical way.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is I don't really believe in romantic love. I do believe you do build bonds and attachment to people. Obviously, because that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah. But you choose to make that connection,
right? And you
like,
build those bonds over time.
Yeah. Like this idea though that you just love someone unconditionally because you have some sort of because you have a there's a difference between having a connection, just because say your father isn't a good father. Like, your father does everything that a father isn't supposed to do. It's not ethical to love that.
Yeah.
You know, like, if your dad literally, if somebody's hurting you in some kind of way, it's not ethical to love that person. And
right.
I think that you choose to love your family. You choose to love your friends.
Right. And granted, I do think part of with family is you do learn to look past their flaws, but I get what you're saying. Like, you choose to do that too.
And another thing about love is that when you choose to love, that there's more to it than just getting happiness from that person.
Mm-hmm.
Once you form an emotional attachment to something, you are guaranteeing your own sadness at some point, because you will lose everything at some point.
That's true. That's a good point.
Not forever. It will always go away at some point. So when you choose to love something, you are guaranteeing your sadness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good point.
That's something that I learned from Buddhism. There are some good things about Buddhism. Some of it's like hippy-dippy crap.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the thing, there are a lot of things I like about Buddhism as well. Like I said, I think every religion brings something of value to the table. Mm-hmm. It's just every one of them also has something I don't like about it. You know what I mean?
Also, it is scientifically, proven that meditating, the way that Buddhists describe meditating is retarded, where they're like, oh, you just sit around and you turn your brain off. You can just stop thinking. That's not possible. You always think.
Right.
But meditation is proven to actually to increase memory.
Right.
So there are lots of benefits to meditating.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Also, the concept of karma is cool.
Yeah, although karma is also in Hinduism.
Yeah. Well, a lot. Yeah. So is meditation.
Yeah.
And reincarnation.
Yeah. One thing I also really like about Buddhism is you can be a Buddhist and still be a Christian, because Buddhism doesn't inherently contradict any other religions, and Buddhists actually don't have a problem. The religion itself doesn't have a problem with you being part of another religion, too.
I would say Buddhism's one of those things where it's supposed to be a philosophy of realism, but it was at a time where people didn't believe in things that were true, you know? So at the time, it was thought to be real.
Right.
Because it's not a religion in its own. It just in this philosophy, there is this religion. I don't know,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's hard to explain.
No, I know what you're saying, so that's what counts. Yeah, I've only got a couple of chapters left in Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics.
Mhm.
So that'll
Been
probably
based.
Oh yeah, it's been based. That'll be the next book I finish. I got 2.5 hours left of it.
I like what he said, where he's like, the nature between men and women is like that of the superior to the inferior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He just drops a lot of like base nuggets.
Yeah. Aristotle's great, and I think everyone should read him.
I actually think his philosophy is a little bit better than Ayn Rand's.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand didn't hate women enough.
It's true.
Those are the best women that can be based on that.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Ayn Rand was probably one of the most based women who ever lived.
Yeah.
If not the most based.
Another I like women like the women that stand up for men's rights.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
I like women too. Like one thing I think is really interesting is when you see a woman who's like almost like part of the MGTOW movement, but she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this one I watched some clips of called Just Pearly Things. I don't know if you've ever seen her.
I don't know. I
She's.
don't think so.
I found her because I was watching a lot of like Andrew Tate clips.
Mm-hmm.
And she has like a podcast where she has like a bunch of different people on, and they like discuss like relationships and like men and women and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting to listen to. But she's pretty based. Like she definitely understands the nature of like men, women, relationships, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's something that more people need to understand, is how their nature influences their lives.
Yeah.
And how certain lifestyles are really bad for you because of your like, I think we need to start taking humanity seriously. Like, the idea of humanity. Like, we need to care. I think we need to value human life more, and we need to
Yeah.
understand what it means to be human.
Yeah.
more.
I agree.
Because I like the concept in religion of humans being above everything.
Right.
Like, I think that's just natural to have that nationalist view of my people first, my home first.
Right, I agree. Like, and I think it's crazy that people act like that's such a controversial thing to say.
Yeah, because it should be instinctively built into you. It's sort of like you're ignoring that your conscience.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I started reading this stuff.
Yeah. It's good shit.
Well, when you're a kid, you think you've seen everything because you've been on the internet.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't really get on the internet until I was, I don't know, like 12, 13. That's not true. That's not true.
You think when you're on the internet, you're open to so much of the world, but it's really just a big echo chamber.
Yeah. Like, I guess I really started getting on the internet in like 2004, 2003, so I guess I would have been like 9 or 10, now that I think about it.
That's what drives me crazy when I was talking to my dad, is I was talking about how, like, a lot of information on Google gets blocked, or like it's put where you can't see it. My dad denied that Google did that, and I was like, obviously it does that.
Yeah,
my dad was about how, oh, if you want to find information you can find on the internet, you have the world at your fingertips. And it's like, no, you don't. A very large chunk of the world is closed off on the internet.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Like, and the thing is like I said earlier, a lot of people don't realize just how dark and cruel. Like, things are a lot shadier than people realize. Like, human trafficking, like sex slavery, is a pretty big thing in the modern world. Like, like there are more slaves in the world now than there have ever been.
Yeah, that's why it drives me crazy, because it's one of those things that feminists should actually care about. Like, we're talking about, because I mean, it happens to boys too. That's, you know,
Yeah.
But I think it's silly that we're like people are like, oh, slavery has to do with black people back in the 1800s. It's like there's so much like there is actual like misogynistic slavery of women going on where they're forced to do humiliating and cruel things to each other.
Yeah.
And like put it on the internet, and like there's this like whole underground world of torturing women.
Well, and like Pornhub got in trouble because there were a lot of videos that were filmed because of people that were like human trafficked. Because like apparently there was a lot of like apparently there was a lot of videos that like people were like, you know, taken into sexual slavery and then filmed and put on Pornhub.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And like Pornhub like knew about it and ignored it until they got sent like a cease and desist letter from like a lawyer. Or actually no, it was someone pretending to be a lawyer. I can't remember who it was. There was someone who did a podcast appearance about it because like I think she was only 14 in the video that got uploaded about her or something, so it was literally like child porn. Yeah, like
something I think is disturbing about feminism is feminism used to be against the porn industry, and now it's like insanely for the porn industry.
Yeah. Like, look,
to a degree, actually like horrible. Like the human body isn't supposed to do that.
Right. Like, here's the thing. I've seen my share of porn. I still watch porn occasionally. I watch my share of hentai. I quite enjoy hentai. But I fully acknowledge that porn is unhealthy and bad for you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are too like obsessed with it too. Like it's addicting, and then like that's something that drives me nuts. Is some of my friends, like I don't know if this is just me being weird, but like when I'm like watching
now if I'm watching it for the story, like in hentai.
Yeah, like Yorotsuki Doji, great series.
Like I don't I don't watch it to do certain things. I think it's better to do those things in your own privacy, and not to watch that, because I think that messes with your brain to masturbate and watch that at like the same time.
Yeah. Like the thing is so like with what was I gonna say?
How would I know?
Yeah, how would I know? Let me think. Let's see. Porn.
All day I think about...
Oh, I remember now. So, like, one thing that drives me nuts, and maybe this is just me, but whenever I'm watching, like, an anime or something, right, I have some friends that'll be like, do you think that chick's hot? It's like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that drives me nuts. People are always like, oh, there's, like in Chisu, he's like, oh, well, this has no babes. I'm like, so? I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not on my mind.
Like, I don't understand how people... I don't understand that mentality of, dude, there's like 100 flavors of women, dude. You can't find your thing out of these 100 flavors of garbage is garbage.
True. But like my friend Rem, who's been on the shit show with us a few times, like we'll be watching an anime and he'll be like, you think she's hot? And I'm like, I don't care.
They might look different, but they all act the same.
Like, the thing is like, don't get me wrong, I like skimpy outfits and shit like that. That's fine. Like, I like that shit, but it's not like a focus for me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think what makes a woman the most attractive is loyalty.
Yeah. And, it's not really a common female trait.
Yeah. Literally, even in the Bible, like the guy, like is his name Samson that has the long hair?
Yeah.
And his wife is like trying to betray him like all the time.
Yeah, Delilah.
Yeah. Eve sort of betrays Adam.
Yeah.
Literally, what she does is disobedience, not just to God but to Adam.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then she drags Adam into it with her, so because he doesn't have much choice. He's like, well, I guess I got to be involved too.
That's why it drives me crazy when when Christians try to interpret the Bible in this way that it was never intended to be interpreted, like where it's like, oh, but God, like when people deny like the stuff about women in the Bible, or people deny the. I think that's actually a big part of it. Is I don't know why, but society today completely like ignores the female stuff in the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Like, female nature is a real thing, as is male nature. Like, to
but
not...
now it's like sexist to even acknowledge what female nature is.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is by nature, it is deceitful, it is manipulative, and it is emotional.
And that's not necessarily wrong, because in a society with strong men, those women are controlled.
Right. And the thing is we had complementary roles. We were supposed to balance each other out. We are designed to balance each other out.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem in it is men have rejected their roles, women have rejected their roles, and then women have men keep some of their roles, but not the rest of them. Like, they want us to not be, like, strong and masculine, but they still want us to be the providers.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they do still want the strong and masculine ones, but that's just, like, some big black guy they're getting on the side. You know what I mean?
Also, it's stupid to think of yourself as a prize.
Yeah, unless you're Patrick Bateman.
Like the mentality of I have I have a vagina. That means that I'm the prize because I have the vagina. But it's like, well, that vagina was used 10 times earlier today, so it's not very appealing anymore at this point.
Yeah.
After you've been, the more used up you are, the less valuable you are.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they better lick up before corrosion eats their lips up, and they ain't soft enough to dick suck. Am I right? Oh.
That is Necro's best song.
Yeah, 86 Measures a Game is such a good song. I do listen to it at least once a day.
Mm-hmm. Movies like Watchmen and Fight Club I can watch every week.
Yeah. I probably could as well. In all honesty, I could probably watch American Psycho over and over again, too.
Yeah. I don't have that on DVD.
Well, I don't either, but I have it digitally now since, I had to buy it so we could watch it.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it on DVD.
So am I. Like, I'm gonna get it physically as well. Because, I don't really like digital purposes, but I wanted to watch it, and that was the easiest way at the time.
You've got to return some videotapes.
Yeah, I've got to return some videotapes. I like how he kept saying that in the movie. That was an interesting running gag.
I want to start using that as an excuse when I can't do something.
Yeah, you should. If you ever get asked, like, by Andy again, like, where the Rugrats video is, you'd be like, sorry, I gotta return some videotapes first. Dude, I miss the video store, though. That was a nostalgic thing when I was a kid.
So the thing about, like, Patrick Bateman's character in American Psycho is supposed to be, like, he came from, like, a rich family. Right? So, like, so he doesn't actually, like, really do a whole lot of anything.
Okay.
So he always, like, has to make up these excuses to make it seem like he's a busy person.
Right.
I just think that's funny to live, like, this luxurious lifestyle with no real... Like, that's, like, why he's going crazy and killing people, is because he realizes that he's, like, that his life is fake. That's why he's, like, killing people, is because he is because of his super materialistic lifestyle, with no actual, like, earning it, like, no actual, like, that does drive people crazy to be given a bunch of things that they didn't earn,
Right. Yeah,
that live this sort of this lifestyle where he's just constantly having sex and doing drugs and hanging out with the boys.
Right. Because the thing is, challenge is part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't earn something, you're not going to appreciate it as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like with like, and that's like, this is obviously not as important of a thing, right? But like with video games, that's why difficult video games are so popular and why they're actually really good. Is because when a game is difficult, you have to earn it when you're playing it. You have to earn the win, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it drives me nuts when Andy argues with me and says, like, oh, this game is hard? This is bad. What were the developers thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Although, one thing I will say was bullshit, though, on a side note. They should have just told me to build 6 fucking teleporters for the portal on Fallout 4. Then I would have known. Because it just says build a generator. It doesn't tell me I needed 6.
I don't know. Like, I think it worked better for me when I was doing it. I don't think I needed 6 generators.
Well, like, the only reason I knew I needed 6 is because I watched somebody else do it.
Huh.
And it needed to be 6 mid-sized ones. It couldn't be small ones. Even though, when it says build a generator, it counts it when you build one small. Sorry, go ahead.
When I first did that part, it was really confusing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I hated that. I need to get back to the game. Hopefully I can save Paladin Dance. Because, again, that's what everyone voted for. Hopefully I have a good enough save.
Like, the game, before you asked me, like, if the game does force you to, do to build.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, kind of, because it's really just that one part, but that one part is really annoying.
Yeah, I don't like the crafting. I really hope that they tone that down if they ever make a Fallout 5. Well, and they are supposedly making a Fallout 5.
I just don't think it should be even in the next Fallout game. I don't think that you should have... I thought the way it worked in Fallout 3 was good, where you have to earn by the choice you make.
Yeah, and it's just like weapons you can build, too. Like, the crafting is just weapons you build.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
it was kind of lame that Fallout New Vegas didn't have, like, a real player home.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing is, like, Tenpenny Tower was, like, I like that that's, like, my home in that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Tenpenny Tower, like, is where I want to live in real life. I want to live with all these freaking rich snobs.
Yeah. I'd love to live in Tenpenny Tower. And
also, I'll never forgive those ghouls. Like, there's no reason for Daring Dashwood deserve to die.
Yeah, no. The fact that they killed Daring Dashwood, it's like, okay, well then killing them is objectively the good option.
Yeah.
Because, fuck those ghouls. Fucking zombies.
I actually, like killing Roy Phillips makes me feel good. So I'm like, fuck you, you're an asshole.
Yeah, seriously, fuck Roy Phillips. I love the scream that, what's her name, Bessie Lou?
Oh yeah, I love that too. Starts screaming and running around.
She's like, help!
I think that part makes me so mad when I literally get them in the democratic way. Like, I do what I'm told is the good thing to do.
And you get good karma for it.
Yeah, and then he kills all of them, and he's like, "Yeah, I killed those bigoted bastards." And the game's like, I get like I don't understand what the game's saying. Why did I get good karma if he was gonna do that?
Yeah, and again, like even if they're trying to make the argument, oh well, they were bigots. Well, again, first off, that's a shit argument. But second off, Daring Dashwood absolutely was not.
Yeah. Also, like, they let you in.
Yeah.
So you're an asshole.
Yeah. Fuck you. Fuck Roy Phillips. Piece of shit.
It's so annoying. I went through all the effort to get you in peacefully, and you killed them all anyway. After I had to actually work hard to help you out.
Yeah, like the thing is like the only good thing about helping Roy Phillips is the ghoul mask. That's it.
The real actual like good way to do that mission is to let them in and then kill them. Roy Phillips.
Yeah.
And then they can all just live together.
Yeah.
But not Roy Phillips. Roy Phillips was just a terrorist.
Yeah. Like, granted, I absolutely needed the ghoul mask for my very hard playthrough, because I don't know if you saw when I did Broken Steel, but with the ghoul mask, you can make Broken Steel so easy. You can literally walk through the hardest part of the game without any enemies.
Really?
Because, like, for me, the hardest part in Fallout 3 is, like, the metro tunnel leading to the Air Force Base, because there's, like, a bunch of Reavers and, like, sentry bots and stuff.
Oh, I actually love that part.
Yeah, but it's really difficult. But so, like, since I was playing on very hard, what I did was I put on the ghoul mask, and then I save scummed on the speech check with the computer so that the sentry bots and the ghouls were both friendly to me, so I literally just walked through it.
Hardest part for me in Fallout 3 was the part at the end where you're trying to, like, finally destroy the Enclave for good.
Yeah, no, yeah, that part's pretty tough. Like, when you're actually at the base.
Yeah. That part was... It also really annoyed me because, like, on PS3 it kept crashing a lot.
Oh, okay.
Like, that part, like, the game just couldn't handle, like, all the stuff loading and all the people shooting at you at once.
Man, Feral Ghoul Reavers are the most annoying enemy in the game. In 3.
Feral Ghoul Reavers?
Yeah, those are the really bad ones. They're really hard. Like, Feral Ghoul Reavers are like... one.
Annoying.
What's that?
I'm trying to think of what the most annoying thing in Fallout, I think, in Fallout 3 was.
Well, because Feral Ghoul Reavers, like, they, like, spaz out and you can't hit them, and they have, like, a ton of health and they do a ton of damage, too. And
I hate bloat flies because they freaking move around and annoy me.
I just always use VATS, so they don't really bother me.
Yeah. Well, it's annoying to just be walking around and then they shoot you like 3 times.
Yeah, that's fair. I would also say albino rad scorpions are really annoying. Because they're just bullet sponges.
Fallout does have a problem with bullet sponges.
Yeah. New Vegas, I think, had it worse than 3, though, because like so many enemies in New Vegas are bullet sponges.
Yeah.
Like, I think the one that pissed me off the most was at the end of Lonesome Road. Fighting Ulysses is easily the hardest battle in any Fallout game I've done. And I was playing on very easy. That was harder than anything I did on my very hard run of Fallout 3.
Cazadors are like just a terrible idea for him.
Yeah, no, fuck Cazadors. I like how you put them in on your most recent Fallout 4 save, and you're like, I'm adding Cazadors because I want to suffer.
Yeah, I do the same thing with Skyrim, and I add Silt Striders.
Oh, Silt Striders,
Silt Striders, the Cliff Racers.
Oh, well, Cliff Racers I don't really mind all that much. Like, they're annoying, but, like, in all honesty, like, people play it up. I think Cliff Racers are really not as bad as people say they are. Like, I play it up, too, for the meme. But, like, Cazadors are genuinely, like, 10 times worse than Cliff Racers.
Yeah, I just think it's fun to just put in the annoying parts of the previous games.
Yeah, that is funny. Let's see, was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
How do you think Wario is based?
Yeah, Wario's based.
Is Wario the true hero of the Mario universe?
Maybe.
And so wait a second, isn't in Wario Land the princess is Daisy?
I've never beat Wario Land, so I don't know. Like, I've played it.
What's confusing to me is, I think in Wario's first game was also Daisy's first game, but now it's Waluigi who likes Daisy.
Well, Wario was... Oh, so you're talking in Super Mario Land 2, the one that introduced Wario.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've never played it. Because I played Wario Land on Game Boy Advance where you play as Wario, but I don't think there's a princess in that one. I think he's just, like, trying to, like, get money.
Get money.
Yeah.
Capitalist Mario.
Yeah, that's why Wario's great. Is there anything else you want to say, or do we want to wrap it up? It is 6 a.m. here, so... I mean, if you have more to add, we'll add more. But I'm just saying.
I guess that wraps it up in a neat little package.
All right. Well, I guess that's gonna do it for me. Say bye, Corbin.
Bye, Corbin.
All right. Toodles, everybody.
Hey, man, let's go home.
You fucking Mackay are all the same. One little sniff of pussy and you lose it.